And we were just wondering if he'll be locked up.
Yeah, will the tiger be locked up for the whole time?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
We never let him out with kids around.
Are you serious?
How about we move to the next part of our video right now? We have Liz Willer on the screen for you, and this TV ad, I thought that one was the word the kids use today? Cringe.
Cringe.
So this is an anti-gun ad. I'm gonna let her talk, and we just comment when she's finished.
Hi, we're Nathan's parents. Thanks for So we just wanted to ask, and it's totally cool. There's no issue. The tiger.
And we were just wondering if he'll be locked up.
Yeah, will the tiger be locked up for the whole time?
Absolutely. We never let him out with kids around. Not even our own.
It doesn't kill to ask about unlocked guns in the house. Guns are now the leading cause of death for kids.
What was that about?
Darth Vader, did you hear that?
I want to know where they're getting their statistics from.
Yeah.
Show me numbers.
Don't
just tell me that. Show me numbers, because I guarantee you that's not the leading cause for death for kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some kids who have, died using guns.
I'm not saying that there isn't. By far, I don't deny that.
Yeah.
Some have had some terrible and tragic outcomes because of guns.
But does that necessarily mean all gun owners
are evil?
Or are they evil? Does that mean? It's just the comparison of guns to a vicious animal. To me, is like
one you can control, one you can't. One's an inanimate object, one isn't.
One is not. Yeah, it's just weird to me.
It's like,
where
do these people come up with this? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Zero.
Like, I mean, I got a cane and a hammer sitting right here, right next to me. I could do just as much damage with that as anything else in this house.
That's crazy.
Like, they tried to ban guns in the UK, and look what happened. Stabbings went up.
Yeah. People will find another means
if
to.
If people want to hurt people, they will find a way.
They will find a way. True, but some will argue by saying, "Well, you can do a lot more damage with a gun than you will do with a knife."
That's not true, because within 10 feet of somebody, it's actually a lot harder to defend against a knife than it is against a gun that's holstered.
So I'm guessing from a sense of, if you have a crowd of people and you have a gun, then from that perspective, at least a machine gun, which is not even legal to get in this country, it's one thing you have an AR, which is not automatic weapon, but it's different.
And that's the thing, is most people think AR stands for automatic rifle. It doesn't. It stands for Armalite Rifle Company.
Armalite rifle. Yeah, that's different. I had to explain this to my wife. It's just you shoot and it reloads on by itself, but you still have to pull the trigger again.
One pull, one bullet.
Yeah. So let's listen to Liz final analysis on this. I love how she puts it together. She kind of says the same thing we're saying in a way.
Guess what you sound around.
Well, health. Okay, so this crazy advertisement, this was played on a local New York station, and it was sponsored by Northwell Health. They are doing an anti-gun initiative here. This was a commercial that was run on the show Monarch. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And I don't know. I mean, I think this is hilarious. It's a stupid ad. Like, what do they expect? Do you have to go and feed your gun 50 pounds of meat every day? What are you going to do if the government's acting tyrannically? You're just going to trot out your herd of tigers to defend yourselves against the government? I imagine being so stupid that you would compare a living wild animal to a firearm. Not exactly the same thing. Not even close to the same thing. The comparison is so asinine, because here's the thing. Tiger, operates itself. A tiger is a living creature. A tiger will attack you if you get in its way. A tiger will attack you if you are in the same room as it. A tiger will attack you for no reason at all. A firearm doesn't do that. A firearm sits in its safe. It's an inanimate object. It's not alive. It does nothing unless a person operates it. So to compare a firearm to a tiger it's not only stupid, it's not only shows that these people are stupid. Another example, by the way, of the crisis in our healthcare system, a healthcare organization is advertising this. It also shows that the left thinks that you are stupid, that you would fall for this. They despise our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms is critical to our defense of freedom. It is critical for the government to know that the people hold the power. The government does not.
She puts it well too.
And she nailed it right on the head too. It's absolutely critical that we protect the Second Amendment with everything we have.
That's right.
Because without that, we don't have any other amendment.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like, we lose all our rights if we lose the Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
And that's the only thing really that's stopping them. That's why they're pushing so hard for gun control. And what they don't realize is the beauty of the Second Amendment is our founding fathers put in there, shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
And the thing that kills me about this is going back a ways, Joe Biden made an idiotic statement that civilians couldn't and never owned cannons. I'm sorry.
What was that? I have no idea.
During the Revolutionary War, they were handing out cannons to civilian ships like they were candy. Like, they were using merchant civilian fleets as warships.
Well, we can't take everything that Biden says for real. Sometimes he's not.
So,
I mean,
and technically, everything that they were using back then was military grade. So, I mean,
they had it there in one way or another. Yeah.
So technically, according to the Second Amendment, nothing for us should be off limits.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we like to believe that our government can never get out of hand. I want to live. I try to live by faith, being a Christian, and we're supposed to. I don't live by faith in my government because history has taught us a number of things. Sometimes they lose their minds. I was talking to my son earlier today, and he had an assignment to do about Constitution, and they were asking him which Constitution in the Bill of Rights with which law in the Bill of Rights which amendment you would like to keep, and things like that. If you had to keep one, he said freedom of speech. And I say, why freedom of speech? He says the government, if we don't have the right to speak, our government can literally go crazy and we can stop them. And when they do go crazy, the Second Amendment comes into play. Isn't that what, who said this? Was it Dave Chappelle who said?
Okay, so the First Amendment is to ensure that we have the right to speak our grievances. The Second Amendment is to protect the first.
Yeah, so there we go. I'm gonna see if I can find a quotation here from Dave Chappelle, and you pretty much summarized it for me. I know Dave said something like that. Yeah, there he is. So you said it. Yeah, he says the First Amendment is first for a reason. The Second Amendment is just in case the first one doesn't work out. And there we go. Because when your freedom of speech is under attack and your Second Amendment is under attack, anything go. A tyrannical government, and we oftentimes want to believe this can never happen here.
And
like
you
JP
look
said,
at history.
It cannot happen here, can it?
You just look at history. I mean, every time the government has wanted to, rule over its people with an iron fist, the first thing they do is get rid of the guns. They've always disarmed the populace every single time.
Yeah.
Without question. without
absolutely.
fail.
Absolutely. Megan, you said exactly 100%. What are we going to ban? What are we going to ban? Cooking knives, baseball bats, etc. There can be used as weapons as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah,
Yeah, and
like
the
you said,
militia in the Second Amendment, it doesn't mean the military. It's everyday people that need to be, in case they need to be called up and ready to defend their state or their country.
yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah, so their entire argument for gun control is absolutely ridiculous. And
yeah.
most of these people haven't gone through the process of trying to purchase a gun in the first place, so they don't even know what they're talking about. And of course, this ad had to come out of New York.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, of all places, really? I
It
mean, come
doesn't
on,
shock me at
guys.
all. Doesn't shock me at all. Doesn't shock me at all.
I'm
The
fighting
Supreme
for.
Court actually, trying to make it possible for New Yorkers to get their guns, and New York managed to
They
work
just
their
keep
way around that. They passed so
kicking
many
us in the
laws.
head over and over again.
Yeah, they make sure they pass so many laws where you cannot carry, to the point where it's like it nullifies what the Supreme Court
Yeah,
has
the
done.
entire state's a safe zone now.
Yeah, everything is a safe zone. It's like, okay, where can I carry it? Carry it inside of your house, in your basement or something. Like, okay. So it's like, of course, it will come from New York. And no wonder why their crime rate is out of control. People don't have the right, to defend themselves. And, this what's been going on in the train. People are just getting stomped and punched out of nowhere. It's happening randomly,
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Now
Criminals,
imagine if those two
they
women
become
had
bold in their sense. Go ahead.
now imagine if those two women were carrying. You think that would have happened if those two women were carrying?
That's a good point. Yeah, when they were being stomped by the so-called Green Goblins gang.
You realize that every year in the U.S. there's a right around 3 million defensive use of firearms every single year that nobody talks about.
Why? Well, why should we? Let's highlight the crimes. Let's highlight how many, or the homicide rates, not those who are using their guns properly.
Compared to the 2,500 to 3,000 deaths per year that they're talking about and highlighting due to actual gun violence. And I'm not talking about the self-deletion.
Yeah.
Wow. You take self-deletion out of it, and their numbers drop dramatically. Megan,
you said the militia in 2A is not meaning the military. Yeah, that's right. The militia represent the people.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew that. That's great. Yeah, we the people all day. Hey, what's up, Vasquez?
Hey, Vegas.
Oh, Vegas villain. All right. Yeah, good point. So much more could be said, and I will advocate all day for the Second Amendment. I would rather be safe than to take my chances, hoping that my government will look out for me enough in time. Yeah. It doesn't always work out that way, Yeah,
I don't trust the government. The only person I trust to look out for me is God and myself.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw a video of what was this guy? He was actually inside of a church, and there was a shooter, and he shot him. And oh my goodness, I'm gonna find it for you. Yeah, he defended the entire church.
Yeah. There you go. That was down in Texas.
Down in Texas, yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah, Steven Crowder actually interviewed him.
Yeah, there we go. How about we play that? Because I think what we're talking about the Second Amendment means whatever New York is looking for a way to get rid of it by any means necessary. At least trying to indoctrinate people there's something evil about first people owning a gun. Let's find out how guns are being used in a positive. Let's talk about that, because I think at least this is the side of the story that you don't hear that the media highlights very much. So let's take a listen to that.
We begin with those disturbing attacks on religious services. First, the breaking news from Texas, a gunman opening fire inside a church near Fort Worth. The West Freeway Church of Christ live streaming the service, as the man seen there at the top stood up from his seat, pulled out a long gun, and fired several times. Other church members right there shooting back. One victim was killed, another in critical condition. The gunman did not survive. And tonight, the hunt for a motive to a violent attack where worshipers should feel most safe. ABC's Marcus Moore leads us off.
Tonight, these shocking images out of Texas. Gunfire interrupting a quiet church service. The violence unfolding just minutes before 10 a.m., just as parishioners started receiving communion at the West Freeway Church of Christ near Fort Worth. The church live streaming the service. You can see the shooter sitting in the back of the room wearing a large coat. Watch as he pulls out a gun and aims it at a man nearby. Another man appears to reach for his weapon, but the gunman fires first, shooting him and a second man.
We're going to need help with patient care.
The gunshots sparking panic in the pews. Worshippers seen ducking for cover. One man covering his wife with his own body.
It was a sad thing that he had to come into the congregation and hurt people, and it's a sad thing that we had to hurt him.
In just seconds, several parishioners opened fire, hitting the gunman, who managed to fire one last shot before falling to the ground, dying at the scene. People rushing over and pointing their weapons at the suspect on the ground.
There are 2 people that were shot, and they died at a local hospital.
Several others hurt, one critically. The gunman also shot dead.
Today, evil walked boldly among us. And let me remind you, good people raised up and stopped it before it got worse.
Outside, officers swarming the scene, shutting down streets. Parishioners visibly shaken, hugging each other for comfort.
All right, Marcus Moore joining us now. And Marcus, this shooting only lasted a few seconds before a security guard and several armed citizens quickly intervened.
That's right. In fact, one man who said he had a relative inside the church at the time, he said he is thankful for so many good guys with guns. In the meantime, the investigation into a possible motive is just getting underway.
All right, Marcus Moore, our thanks to you tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Yeah. There we go.
Well,
let's talk about that.
You want motive? I'll give you motive. Look at all the crap you see on TV and on the news these days. There's your motive.
There goes your motives.
You guys are pushing this stuff and cramming all this stuff down people's throats. What do you think it does to the human psyche? I mean,
we are so naive. So many of us are so naive, and we don't think that evil. We don't really believe that evil walks amongst us, and is out to destroy people.
Especially for those who are weak-minded.
Yeah, and I think some of it is just pure ignorance and more like willful ignorance. I will say it's like they will ignore the facts. Like really, like this is not heaven, buddy. Like I'll pray and I'll shoot and pray because you're not gonna hurt.
Yeah, you picked the wrong state to pull that in, though. I mean,
yeah.
You try to do that in Texas.
Go to New York. Go to New York.
Oh, please don't.
Don't come to. I know. I mean, not. But I know in New York, what I do is, and I say that is because, especially the way that New York is carried out, and I'm not wishing that on any New Yorkers. But the thing is, just there are some states. Texas was the last place you want to go and do something like that.
Yeah. Because, like, I bet you, like, a good 3/4 of the people there were packing.
Yeah.
Like, Texas was a bad choice to pull that off in.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like people don't understand. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. We've seen it time and time and time and time again, and yet people still don't grasp the concept, whether it's a cop or a civilian. No matter who it is, one or the other is, when somebody gets it in their head that they're going to do something like this, they're dead set on doing it, and they're going through with it, and they're not going to stop until they take out as many people as they can before somebody takes them out. Period. It's essentially the same as a suicide bomber.
I was talking to my son earlier, and one of the things that we were talking about was when you're looking at the law of God, it's just like you're not talking about just the action of the law. There's the spirit of the law. You pretty much highlight the fact that, before a shooter, the shooter makes up his mind to kill way ahead of time. We can't control the mind, so therefore we have to be ready because we can't read the mind. God only knows that. So that's why when you look at the Bible, God also deals with sin that are in the mind. It's called the spirit of the law. When you look at a woman and lust after her in your heart, therefore it's considered adultery. You know, you hate your brother in your heart, it is considered murder. So God takes this stuff to the next level. So we are not God. Here we are in living in this sinful world. So when people choose to do evil, we have to be able to confront it in his face for what it is. So if we are unready, don't get me wrong, pray it up, make sure the spirit of God is over you. But at the same time, let's not be naive just because we're Christian, thinking because I believe in Jesus, that's all that it takes. Listen, friends, Christian get shot down too. Okay, they mass shooters don't ask about your spiritual condition before they take action.
They don't discriminate.
They don't discriminate. So the thing is, it's just common sense to me. Even in the Bible, you notice that the Israelites were not cowards. Like, you don't see God's people being cowards. They went to war. They were warriors and soldiers. Primarily God was the one fighting their battle. But every now and then they had to lift up the sword against their enemy. So I think as Christians, we are not called to be soft and just lovey-dovey and so on. There is a place where prayer needs to take place. But just like these people did inside of that sanctuary, there you come to our church to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Oh no, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I mean,
because we gotta save our members. We
you
can't
gotta
allow
you
this to
gotta
happen.
carry two swords.
Yeah.
You carry the sword of God in one hand and the sword of Smith and Wesson in the other.
Yeah. Somebody will say one to kill and one to heal.
Exactly.
So if I can help you with the Bible, with the sword of the Spirit, well, I'm gonna have to use a regular sword to take you out.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, we live in this world, and it's sad. You kind of have to do that, because evil walks among us, and we don't like to admit this, but it is true. Some people are evildoers. They're gonna come with the mindset to do you wrong, and if you can